I love you.
Not gonna lie, but when I heard that Henry Cavill wasn't going to be Superman any longer, I was very disappointed along with a lot of people. To me, he embodied Superman perfectly, he looked the part, he was very handsome, very humble, and it seemed as though he took his role extremely seriously. But DC has always had issues. And so it's understandable why they'd want a reset. And now that James Gunn is effectively the Kevin Feige of DC, we're to expect that he's going to want to overhaul things. So that was expected. And honestly, there are movies that I watched in the past that I didn't even realize were made by James Gunn, and I ended up loving them. But I know I love Guardians of the Galaxy. But I also was so surprised when he came and basically said F you to Marvel and made Brightburn. The dude does horror and bright adventure and meaningful moments so freaking well. He's very talented. And for the moment, it seems like his movies are just movies. So then we got the Superman trailer, and honestly, when I saw the trailer, I didn't know what to expect, but the way it was shot, the way it was directed, I don't know, it just came off feeling very personal. The approach he seems to be taking, it feels as though it's striking the chord of being more nuanced, looking at who Clark Kent is. I didn't watch Smallville. My father has the whole collection, but I imagine that the movie is going to be pulling from that, or that's kind of how it feels. Just based off of the few clips that I've seen of it when I was sitting down watching some of the clips with my dad as he was reminiscing. I was so confused when I first saw this, and I asked my husband because he was watching it alongside me. I'm like, what is he whistling for? And he's like, his dog. I'm like, his dog? Superman has a freaking dog? And I remembered, oh yes, there is a superpowered dog. Now, mind you, this is coming from someone who's not a hardcore comic book fan, so I don't want anyone thinking, oh, I know all the lore and all the stuff. I am a general audience member, so I am looking at this from a fresh pair of eyes, someone who doesn't know the backstory, the lore. I recognize the music. I recognize how iconic Superman is, and Henry Cavill had honestly made me very interested in that. I haven't watched the old Superman movies that this is based off of, and the only other one I've watched aside from the Henry Cavill version was the Superman Returns movie, which was cute but very uninspiring to me, and the only thing I remember out of that movie is the fact that he had a son, and it was one hell of a twist when the kid turned out to have powers, even though we should have all expected that.
Crypto. Home. Take me home.
My dad is a big fan of the comics, and just from what I can see in the trailer, oh my guy is gonna be Lex Luthor too. I love him. Holtz, yes, let's go. No, Holt, Nicholas Holt. I loved him in The Great. I loved him in that zombie movie. Everything he comes in, he's actually a really good actor. He does a fantastic job, and he plays villain and unassuming person very well. So it's good to see him again in this role. I think he would do a great job with Lex Luthor, just based off of the character and what I know about him. But yeah, the trailer seems to be leaning into the comic book style, or at least it comes off feeling like that in the looks, in the way they're telling the story. And it feels like something that my father would really appreciate. It has this very classic comic book feel, but with a modern twist, and not modern in the bad way. I know a lot of people are going through superhero fatigue, but I think they just want good movies, and I know that James Gunn seems to make very good movies. We can't tell from the Guardians of the Galaxy series and Brightburn, it seems that he is at his peak right now when it comes to making movies. I don't know how well he's going to handle the universe, but even though I'm still really salty about Henry Cavill not being Superman, because I think he would have played this role fine if James Gunn were to direct him, so I don't even know why that was the case, but unfortunately Henry Cavill is part of the old universe, and James Gunn wanted to reset everything. Understandably, Henry Cavill is also getting older, so they needed somebody else to look the part. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it looks promising. It made me kind of tear up a little bit, and I don't really know why it did. I think it's the way this little kid was chanting Superman, and then everybody else started chanting Superman, and it looks really fun. Damn. The one criticism I would have, though, is I don't know if this trailer is supposed to be encompassing everything that's in one movie, or if this movie is in different parts, or it's going to be a trilogy cut into different pieces, because there is a lot going on in just this trailer. I mean, there are so many things going on in this trailer that the only concern I probably would have is that the movie is going to be way too cluttered, that we're not going to have any time to really just focus on Superman or how long this movie is going to be. But I know that Guardians of the Galaxy was a very busy movie, and it was packed with a whole bunch of different characters and a plethora of locations. It worked for that type of movie that it was. But in contrast, Superman's movie or his story feels like it's supposed to be a lot more personal and focused. So I'm hoping that they'll stick with a more intimate and closely followed narrative. And I think that if they come at it from this angle, that is going to make people connect with Superman more as a character, the way that people did with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. So let's get into the comments. Everyone's talking about this Yamcha pose. What are they talking about? Someone says, when I was 12, my mom took me to see the original Superman film. We were both big fans. I'm 58 now.
Well, damn.
This trailer made me feel like I was 12 again, and I wish my mom was still here to feel that with me. This looks incredible. Crypto really be that loyal dog leading you home after a drunken night. The slight flinch Clark gives when hit by the can is so amazing. So many of the superheroes are made to look strong in their invulnerability by not being affected by anything in an almost unfeeling way. But this Superman is showing he feels at least the hurt of the gesture and presses forward. Did he actually flinch? Someone threw a can. He didn't flinch to me. He didn't flinch, though. The guy throws the can. Everyone's mad at him, treating him like he's Homelander. Hey, I mean, ideally, his head is not supposed to move because of how strong he is, but he's still a body. You know, he's not an immovable object. It was his head reacting to something hit the back of my head. Physics, you know what I mean? Maybe it was a slight flinch, I don't know, but it just felt like his head moved slightly. Okay, I don't know about that. But the way he was carrying himself, that was a more human reaction. And this guy does a great job with wearing his emotions on his face. He's obviously someone who is not just invulnerable, but someone who feels the emotional weight of his actions, even if they physically don't hurt him. This part where he leans forward into Lois as whatever the jellyfish is going on outside in the background, what is that? This feels like it's from a clip that my husband showed me recently of the old Superman movie or show where he was like a huge flirt, and it seems like they're leaning into that because he has this confidence. It's like, damn, okay, are they dating at this point? Look at how she looks. She's like, oh my freaking God. She looks like how I would look in that situation. Like you're like unable to speak, and all of a sudden you don't need to be so far away to see Niagara Falls. Trailer looks good. Will the movie be good? I don't know, but based on James Gunn's track record recently, I have hope that it would be good. And I wish I could see this with my dad. Maybe I can work out something where I can take him out and we can go see this together, me, him, and my brothers, because we've watched a lot of superhero stuff together, and I have a feeling this is one of those family flicks with some dark elements in it too. And he looks okay as Superman. Is he as handsome as Henry Cavill? Hell no! But he looks like, you know who they seem to have been trying to make him look like? Like the dude from Smallville. The realized version of Tom Welling when he's all grown up now. I mean, he doesn't look exactly like him, you know what I mean? But at least it seems like that's where they're drawing some of their inspiration from a little bit. This is such a Peter Parker, Uncle Ben moment. It kind of feels like the relationship he had with his adopted father is kind of the same kind of thing I get from Peter Parker. No, Peter Parker was a dick to his uncle. That's why he felt worse. That's where that guilt was coming from. But this is just a very personal picture too. I don't know. I'm not gonna say I'm super hyped to see this movie. I definitely want to see the movie. And there's a dog in it, come on. Yes, that shouldn't be enough, but I don't know much about Crypto. Okay, I know, okay, he exists, but that's basically it. And it looks like it is very beautifully filmed. It looks colorful, the world looks lived in. And you see, guys, you can tell from a trailer whether someone is going to be likable or not, just from the little bit we've seen of him. I did like the fact that this actor was gonna be replacing Superman, but already I like him. He seems very likable. And the other thing I'm getting from it is he seems lonely, and he seems that the people that he cares about, he has a strong connection with them. You can get that from a first impression. That's why it's called First Impressions. And people were wondering why, when we look at trailers like that of the Intergalactic Heretic Prophet, how we can make up our minds on whether or not a character is likable or how we feel about them. And their personality and the way they present themselves is very important. Even though Superman has every right to be haughty because he's the strongest person in the world, we like him because he's humble. He's likable. We have a version of that everybody likes to hate because he has all that power, but none of the humility.
Bro, not my fault, okay?
She came on to me.
And even though he's irreprehensible, there are moments when even some of his humility shines through when he's vulnerable. And that's what I get from this trailer with Clark Kent. So yeah, I'm open to giving James Gunn a chance. What do you guys think about this trailer? How does it make you feel? Were you like me, where you were completely on the fence, or at least very against it vehemently when you first saw that this guy was gonna be cast as Superman? It's not easy to see a role get recast from someone who you think deserves the role and did a great job at it. But so far, this guy seems okay. Then again, this is only the trailer, but based on what we're seeing so far, it is at the very least making me want to see the movie. And the fact that it's from James Gunn. Or are you just played out completely? You're like, I'm just done with superhero movies in general. It doesn't matter who's directing it. I'm just tired. I don't care about Superman anymore. How do you feel?